What's up, everybody? We are back for another Wandavision on this special Friday night, Valentine's Day weekend. We even have a new member of Pressable Defects with us. Let's get right into it. Guy Forge, what's up?
What is up? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Gar.
Yeah, no problem. Jay?
What is up, guys? Happy to be back. Things are getting better. Well, things have gotten better, and I'm excited to talk about it.
And Jembo.
I couldn't think of how to change the first name. Agent Jembo?
Captain.
Captain Jembo? There you go. Damn, how do you change it?
I don't know how to change it. The little dots on the bottom of the screen.
Just click your name. Just click your name.
It doesn't work. All right.
So,
what up, everybody?
Again, we're on a special Friday evening. Everybody's got a busy weekend, but we had to go at least for a little bit to talk about this episode. We were just talking off screen. There's some disagreement amongst us, which is great. I think it's like one of the first times we've actually disagreed about stuff. Not necessarily how good the episode was or how bad it was, but just theories. Because after this episode, did some theories get debunked? There's more questions, that's for sure. So things are going on. So we've done our introductions. Should we just get right into this?
I think so.
All right. Now, feel free to cut me off whenever you want because I'm going to be just going and we're going to discuss. First thing, we're in the 90s now, right? We have that 1990s opening monologue. The music is 90s. The theme is 90s. They even did a really good job of the actual TV show. Like it's felt like Malcolm in the Middle a little bit when it first started.
That's the vibe I got right away.
Right away.
It was the same writing from it too. The font was the same and everything like that. Yeah.
The third, what is it? The wall, right? The Deadpool style, breaking the fourth wall, third, whatever the hell it is, right? Who was it? Tommy or Billy? One of them were talking to the camera. So automatically there's a huge change, right? The kids are older now, which is great. You have Quicksilver passed out on the couch. He's sleeping. And the first thing that I kind of notice about this episode, and let me know what you guys think, is they're a little scared to wake him up. The two boys are a little scared to wake him up, and they reference him as a vampire. I thought that was kind of interesting and like a big, scary vampire. Anybody want to talk about that?
I just think he was, he's that crazy uncle that's sleeping on the couch at 4 p.m.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. They made a point to say it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
They idolize him. They're like, man, he even snores cool. He reminded me of like Uncle Jesse from Full House.
Oh, yeah, like Cody, bro, from what was Cody from?
Yeah, things went south for Cody in the real world, though.
But the thing about the vampire thing is interesting because the kids know what's up. Like, they really know the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And then when he scares them later, what was that all about, right? That was kind of like, I don't know.
I'm telling you, this episode, I wouldn't say it was as good as the last two, but it opened more questions, right? I mean, I have more questions, and were things really debunked or were they expanded on? So it's Halloween. They get dressed. I mean, Quicksilver looks like Quicksilver. Wanda looks like Wanda. Vision looks like Vision. It's great. And
it's amazing. I think this is the first time I like the fake show almost as much as the real show. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed it.
What's funny about you saying that is I said that to myself, and then I said, is it because I was watching these 90s shows? Like, does it hit home? I don't know. It was
just good, though. There was just so many Easter eggs. It was just enjoyable. The nods to the comics, the interaction with Quicksilver and his nephews. It was just good all around, man.
I agree. So they're out trick-or-treating. Now, one thing that was really interesting to me is Vision is not with them. Vision goes on his... What was it? What are these things called?
Neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch, right. He's on duty for neighborhood watch. He leaves.
Well, he says he's on duty for neighborhood watch.
He left the main quest and went on the open world side quest.
Went on the side mission.
Went on that side quest to see what's going on.
Yeah. He's doing his own thing. And because it's Halloween, boom, we're out. We're trick-or-treating. And we all talked about this off camera. Quicksilver says to those two little kids, unleash hell, demon spawn.
Yep.
Is that a nod to Mephisto? We've had how many devil references in these episodes?
I don't know, man. This episode made me feel more Like they don't need a Mephisto backstory to make this work. It's really just her. So that could have just been a thing that uncles say to their nephews. You know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like this, not debunked Mephisto, but it was like, man, we're getting closer to the end, and it's kind of like not really necessary.
I disagree.
I think they were doing a lot. I think. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was going to say I disagree. I think it has a lot to do with Mephisto, and I think it has a lot to do with Tommy and Billy being there for Mephisto.
Guy?
Yeah, I think they're not throwing as many, or they didn't throw as many like Easter egg-ish stuff in this episode. I think they did a lot just to throw you off. Like they were just throwing nods here or there, little sentences here or there, little sayings here or there. And you're like, it just made you think rather than like you looking for stuff. I think they did a lot of that this episode.
Do you think Marvel is screwing with us?
Yeah,
And
they
they're
did.
screwing, because I'll tell you
think
this,
so.
it's not like Marvel to say, here's Agatha, or here's Agatha, here's Chthon, here's Mephisto, here's who else? A Grim Reaper. Here's Wonder Man. Here's like Marvel doesn't do that. You get like one, maybe two character.
That's why I don't think we'll get Mephisto, because I don't really think for the plot that it's really necessary. I don't think she needed Mephisto to create this world. It definitely, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but it definitely seems like she had a breakdown that conjured this world, and she woke up and everything was better. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you need Mephisto involved with that.
But is it better?
Well, she's losing control, and you know the cracks are showing, right?
I think he may have planted that seed.
Are you talking figuratively or literally?
Both. Oh no, both. Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest connection that we still have to Mephisto is the fact that she has the twins, right? That's like the nod to the comics. But you know, I don't know. If I was betting on an SS3 right now, I'd be a little bit nervous.
SS3 is through the roof right now.
I'd be nervous though. I would be trying to sell right now.
So
if I
would be too nervous because we've already seen him teased in the Loki trailer,
he
right?
could show up in Loki. That is true.
He could be, and I said this probably in the first episode we did together. I think I said maybe Mephisto is being referenced in Loki, and this is the Mephisto that's being referenced. Maybe they're talking about him. Maybe Loki's in another multiverse, and maybe there's only one Mephisto across the multiverses. I don't know. Just theories. So they're out trick-or-treating. Herb, I thought this was really interesting what Herb said. She runs into Herb. Herb's on the radio. He's talking to other people, other neighborhood watch people. She asked about Vision. We'll get into that. But Herb says, he asks Wanda, is there something you want changed?
Well, before that, Herb is announcing everything that's about to happen moments before it happens.
That's right.
He says someone's stealing the candy and someone's spraying people with
no, but he's getting the word from like the walkie-talkie from the ears on the street, you know?
Oh, gotcha.
The headpiece.
Yeah, he is. But that quote made me say, so, and we'll talk about Agatha later, Agnes. We'll talk about her a little later. But it almost seems like we'll use Herb and Agnes, for instance, because this is another reference of there's things going on. There's two things going on. There's people that have no free will, and then there seems to be people that do have free will. Like
that know what's going on,
Yeah. Doesn't it seem like Agnes stopped last episode and said, I'm sorry, do you want to redo that?
Yeah, but it's like why see that's what doesn't make sense. Why did she do that then? But then in this episode, Vision brings her to normal, and she's like, it debunks the Agnes running things behind the scenes theory, you know?
But not really. We'll get when we bring that up. There's another thing about that too.
But this is the second time something like that's happened where somebody is almost taken, has that free will to say, oh, Wanda, is there something you want changed?
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting.
The mailman did it too, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The mailman too.
You have 3 references. All right, so moving on. Now we're going into we're now joined to Vision. We hopped over to Vision, and Vision starts noticing there's something not right, and you're starting to realize as he's going farther and farther away, maybe not necessarily from Wanda, but closer and closer to the edge of town, things aren't quite right. Specifically, the people.
Yep.
Yeah,
There are some people that are moving freely, and there's some people that are almost like a scratch record, right? A scratch CD. You have a woman trying to hang a decoration and just going back and forth with a single tear, like she can't stop herself
like
from
Get
doing
Out.
it.
I thought that was kind of just like she can't control everything, and it's like stuff closer to the border is not as important as what's going on that interacts with them. So they're just kind of like the non-playable characters in like a video game, just kind of glitching out and whatever.
Yeah, so if you think about it, the non-playable characters, these are all the people that are not on screen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they really don't need to be moving around at this time because they're not on screen. People aren't seeing them.
So
they're not on the show right now. So why do they need to be moving around?
How I took it as the farther away the people were, the less Wanda could control them. She had
so much. What I got, yeah.
She had so much going on in that Halloween scare square or whatever they called it, like kids running around, which you've seen for the first time. You never seen kids before,
and they reference that.
So what's the deal? So I guess what Pietro was saying is that she knowingly didn't want to use the kids and just kind of. What were they home sleeping in their beds and then just brought them out for the Halloween special. So the kids were really in the town. She's just kind of got them at bay. And I guess she doesn't want to manipulate the kids all day, every day or whatever. Something about that.
We're going to get into the kids because that I thought that it's so funny you say that because I said that in my head. I'm like, this is the first time we've seen kids. Yeah. And even Quicksilver says that, but that's later in the episode.
But also she now has kids. So that's kind of like
that too. So, all right. So after the Vision moment, we see it goes to a commercial.
Oh,
and I thought this was the craziest thing because this commercial, we've been talking about the color red. This commercial again, it's got the strawberry yogurt. It's red, the 90s vibe, almost like those Go-Gurt commercials from the 90s and all that. That's kind of
90s,
right?
Well,
that's
I remember. We never got to see the yogurt. Yeah. All we saw was the strawberry. But we saw a red crab.
Yeah, never. And his shirt was red. The boy's shirt was red. It was a strawberry flavored yogurt. You had the red crab. It was creepy, I thought.
Yeah, he couldn't get that magic, right?
No, couldn't get it.
Well, let's not forget about what's going on in the real world. What is it, Director Hayward?
Yes.
Because I've seen some people in the chat saying what I was feeling too. Like, this guy's gone full villain. Is there something going on with him? Because he doesn't seem to be acting like how he was acting in the beginning. He's not acting like a professional. Right?
I don't think he's a villain. I don't think he's a villain. I think he had some bad shit happen to him.
Yeah, I think
that he seems to hold a grudge about.
I agree with Guy. I think something happened during the snap and with superheroes where he has a thing against superheroes and people with power because he references to Monica. He goes, "You aren't here. You didn't suffer what everybody else suffered. You were gone for 5 years."
Yeah,
so here's what I'm thinking about. Did something happen to where obviously everybody came back? Did he lose family members to someone during the snap, some like tragic way? But he definitely suffered loss. And I do believe he's building, his intention was to build Vision as like another Ultron as a weapon.
Oilers Workshop. I did want to talk about this, but this is a big one, guys.
That's a reach to me. You know why? I was reading it. And what's up, Oilers? I think that's a reach because this show doesn't have narration. So how do you explain something like that? Exposition, or I don't think we would ever see that in the show. I don't think it needs to go that deep.
I think it does because
the
only reason I say that, Jem, is because there are leaked photos that you guys could find online.
See, I haven't looked at the Reddit leaks and all that.
Yeah, there's leaked photos where it's an old school like Salem witch trial, and you see Wanda there. You see Agatha Harkness there, and the thing about her is she has the old school purple shirt, like old school comic books. So that he could be onto something there.
So maybe Agnes explains it to Wanda when she reveals her being the one behind everything or whatever. Because you know what was interesting, and I don't know if it was just a nod to the comics, but her Halloween costume was a witch.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you, in reference to that, if you guys noticed. I mean, I watched. I don't know how many times you guys watched it. Obviously, I slowed it down at times too, a little bit. The second time I watched it, there's a house, and I don't know if it's supposed to be Agatha's house, but there's a house that they pan off on when the kids are trick or treating. This house, just to give you the layout of this house from the outside, there's 3 witches around a cauldron, like a blow up kind of Halloween thing. There is witches' hats, like all lined up, like on string, draped across the whole front of the house. There is a big ass black cat. Okay, like a blown up black cat, like big on the lawn. And they stopped here for a second when the kids were trick or treating. Now, Agatha, Jay, I know you probably know this the best. That's going to be my guess. Agatha had a cat in the comic books, a black cat that could enlarge itself to the size of like a Black Panther.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, that fits because I saw those leaked pictures of the Salem, witch trial, and they're kind of around. They're all together, and it looks like it's set back in like the 1700s. So that could just be foreshadowing to what's gonna happen.
Yeah, if that wasn't her house, I mean that was
I'm gonna pay attention. I want to watch it again. Look for that house.
It's really cool. Out. It's all witched out, the whole house.
All right, after the commercial, we come back into WandaVision because that's how I'm just going to reference it, right? Inside WandaVision, outside WandaVision, and they're coming out of the movie theater area, and you see I don't know if you guys caught this, on the movie theater they were showing Incredibles and Parent Trap.
Oh yes, exactly. 2 movies from the 2000s.
That's right. I mean, that's got to be a shot too. Also, the Incredibles with the abilities and Parent Trap. Is this all a trap? I don't know. Just some stuff to talk about. And then
the Incredibles are based off the Fantastic Four, kind of, right?
Yeah, seemed like that, right? Now here, this is where things started getting interesting. Wanda asks Pietro, Quicksilver, what are you doing here? You're different, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I heard you calling me. I know you needed me.
Right.
Like, is it Mephisto?
That reminds me of that meme where I don't know if you've seen the meme with the kid with the butterfly, and it's like anything happens in WandaVision, fans be like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? So, man, like I always go back and forth. Did she draw him from the multiverse, and that's what he heard her calling, or because why does he look different? You know what I'm saying? Like in the story, you know what I'm saying? Like why wouldn't they have casted the same dude from before to reprise his role as like Vision? One
of my favorite lines is when Darcy goes, "She recast Pietro." That was one of my favorite lines last episode.
Super chat, $6.66. Alan Thornton. Hayward seems to be threatened by people with power. So could he be developing Sentinels with Vision's body?
I like that theory.
I do too.
I like that.
Because this whole show seems to be setting up fearing people with powers or fearing mutants.
Sure.
It's kind of he's scared of Wanda.
And he's ready to attack with force.
He's ready.
Not playing.
We know that Wanda in the books, she's a mutant, right? We don't know. The MCU doesn't know mutants yet, right? They haven't. They're not. We don't know mutants yet, right? In the MCU, but we know Wanda.
They can easily do that because they just reference them as miracles, but that's the only 2 people that have ever been given powers like that. So I think that could easily be retcon to be mutants.
Could be, right? Like, what if they? I mean, we talked about this too. Like, what if what they went through just brought the gene out? Doesn't it take that traumatic experience for a child to hit that mutant gene for it to come, for it to expose itself, for the powers to start,
Right.
All right. So we learned too now that Hayward is tracking Vision.
Yep.
He's getting closer and closer to the edge. And now, as Vision's getting closer to the edge of the hexagon, people aren't even moving. Yep. Forget just that scratched record. Now they're not even moving. And like Jay said, and I agree with you, the farther out from Wanda, I just think her powers are just a little weaker.
Yep.
And I mean, you're talking about a whole town she's controlling, right?
Right. And she's
are they weaker? Are they weaker, or she just doesn't need to move them?
I think they're weaker
because they're not on camera.
It could be either one.
Both.
Well, no, I disagree with that because in the previous episode, she's bugging out and she's like, "How do you expect me to get all these people to their dentist appointments and blah 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 blah?" And that's never on camera. So why would it just be, why even have them out there? Why would there be Halloween decorations out there? Like all of a sudden, So
just I think you drive by.
Yeah. Oh, that could be true. But then why have them keep repeating what they're doing? I think it's just the further away she gets, the less power she has. And that's why she expands. You see her get mad.
I think she's getting more powerful with every episode too. I think she understands that she's getting more powerful.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
See, I don't know if I agree with
okay.
that. I feel like she's losing power, but she's trying to keep everything under control. So she's, digging down to expand the hex to save Vision. But she definitely seems to be losing control because even the outside of that bubble, which used to be see-through, is now all red and all TV looking,
She's losing control because now it's every single episode we see almost like a blip, like something screws up, like she screwed up inside.
Yeah. Well, now she just doesn't care. You see her kids, you see Tommy and Billy running around with their powers. You see Quicksilver running around with his powers.
Nobody's even looking. Nobody cares.
No one cares. So I think in that sense, she's kind of losing control, and she knows Vision knows something. She knows that, Herb, the mailman, she used to rewind it, but now she just lets it play out,
Yeah. Well, here, let's go to Vision as he's moving towards the edge of town. And this is something else. And that's why we were talking about it earlier. As he's moving.
We got to rewind. A lot happens before that. No,
I'm not talking about the end of the episode. I'm still talking about as he's moving towards the outside.
Gotcha.
Everyone's frozen.
Yep.
Except for one person that he runs into, which is Agnes.
Yep.
He runs into her at the stop sign, at the barrier where Wanda's told the kids don't go there. Ellis, right? Let's pop that picture up. How's that?
Right here. Somebody in the chat in the beginning was referencing Ellis Island is where X-Men 1 went down.
So this is, Jay, you have something to talk about this. This is where Agnes is.
Right.
So what is this like? I saw that in the chat because that's true, right? That's where the mutants came in.
Yeah, they can't. That's where Magneto held them at Ellis Island, if I remember correctly.
The first movie, the very first.
Yep. But so I Googled Ellis. The only thing that comes up with Ellis in the MCU is the President Ellis, who Iron Man, saves. And the only thing that I could come up with Rolling Hill is Maria Hill from
Sword.
Is she from Sword? No, she's from Shield. Yeah, she's from Shield. So that's the only thing that it could be the Ellis Island reference, but that's the only thing I could really come up with for those streets. I don't think there's much more to it. I think they just put it there as basically the boundary, because you hear her tell the kids don't go past Ellis because she knows where that force field ends because she came through that force field once already.
Yeah, it's close. She's at the edge there. So Vision sees Agnes, and this is probably, I don't know how you guys think. This is probably my favorite part of the whole episode is their interaction. I thought this was the best. So Agnes is talking. She's kind of talking a little bit in circles. She's kind of lost. And Vision's like, why, you lived here your whole life, blah, blah, blah. And she's kind of responsive, much more than any of the other people. And he wakes her up. The little boop, boop, the little headshot. She wakes up. She's asking, number one, am I dead? Is he here to save them? All this.
Because she realizes that he's dead. So then she's wondering that she must be dead. The other thing about that is somebody in the chat was like, how can she drive out there if she's being controlled? But maybe she was driving and got too far away from Wanda, started losing control. And then she ends up being like, yo, what the hell's going on? She's not being controlled. She still has kind of a little bit of her own willpower.
See, what I think is she knew. I think once Wanda found out that he wasn't doing that neighborhood patrol, she went out to get Vision before he could leave to try to stop. And then I don't know what happened from there, but I think she was sent there on purpose. Because if we know Agnes, she's always around. She's always around.
When Wanda needs her.
Yeah, when Wanda needs her. So why would she be out so close to the edge if she didn't know Vision was wandering around and she knew he wasn't doing that neighborhood watch?
Right place, the right time. She always is.
Always there.
Exactly. And I think she's playing Vision. I think she knows. I think she knows exactly what she's doing just from that sinister witch laugh. Yeah. He doesn't know what's going on because he doesn't know he was an Avenger and he didn't know he was dead. He kind of just episode 1. That's when he was kind of reborn, and that's all he knows. But he does know something is going on.
It's funny, dude. Everyone's struggling with it. Everyone's in pain with it. Everyone's emotional except Agnes.
Fine. She's fine. And Jem, in reference to what you said before, if you think about it, so she was like kind of almost comatose to begin with when Vision first got there. Then he wakes her up. She goes through that whole thing. Am I dead because you are? Blah blah blah. Then she does that freaky witch laugh. Okay. Then he puts her back to so-called comatose,
but she's good.
And she's like, all right. She goes, I'm just gonna turn around. I'm out. And she turns the car around and goes the other way. Like what?
I stalled you long enough.
Yeah, but Norm did that same thing when Vision released him.
But Norm was never.
But don't forget, she was comatose.
Right.
Kind of
comatose. I mean, everyone at that point, Jay, was supposedly, like you said it, like dead. Like they're just like not moving. Get it?
Yeah.
So
she's. I think she's in on it, man.
I think she's in on it.
She's definitely way different when he wakes her back up than when he finds her. Like, how did that happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
correct.
It's something fishy, but I liked that whole interaction. I thought that was cool.
I mean, they could really play it either way. It depends on how they wanted to play it out, you know, because there's a lot of questions that I don't know that we're going to get answers to all of them, you know?
Yeah, could be.
Like, how do we get an explanation of her doing this just to mess with him? Is this the villain telling the hero their whole plot at the end of the show kind of thing, saying, oh, I set all this up in motion and I drove out there to catch Vision and all that?
She's fake. We got people thinking she's faking.
Yeah.
All right, so from that point now, we're in WandaVision. We see that little interaction. Vision starts walking towards the edge. Now we're out of WandaVision. Monica's blood work. This is important. So, yeah, Monica, Detective Wu, you have Darcy. They were taken out of the facility. They get their way back in now. They're in a little office. Darcy's, breaking into firewalls, doing her thing. She comes across Monica's blood work. But this whole part was important because Monica gets the okay. Our guy's going to be here in an hour. We're going back in.
All right, I'll get into that.
You do this, Jay. Go ahead.
So, what did I say, guys? You don't know how many DMs I got about this. Because there was a Spanish word on the wall that referenced women. No, there's 3 aerospace engineers in Marvel. There's Reed, there's Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, and there's Riri Williams. So now we take Riri out of the equation, right? I'm like I said last video, I have a strong feeling it's Blue Marvel because of the relationship he has with Monica in the comics, in the Mighty Avengers, in the Ultimates. And yeah, just pull up that video. She looks so giddy when she gets the text from him.
See, that's why we all knew it wasn't Riri the whole time.
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying it could be Rhodes now, but I don't think it's Rhodes. Like he's not.
He was just a military guy. He wasn't.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not that excited over him because she's young.
Yep. So
this
when they told me it was the aerospace engineer, I knew it had to be him. And she looks thirsty when she gets that text, like she's getting the text from the crush. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I'm doubting myself on is Elizabeth Olsen said a couple of weeks back in one of these episodes, there's going to be a appearance that's going to rival Luke Skywalker on The Mandalorian. Luke and Vader are the 2 biggest, entities in Star Wars. So for it to be Blue Marvel, I don't know if he could be, compared to Luke Skywalker.
No.
Could Reed be compared to Luke
I would almost even say no either.
But I think possibly he can. But and then I was thinking some more. Luke came back. Could it be a character that comes back? Could that be Magneto? Like we already seen Quicksilver come back. But as far as who she was texting, guys, I would bet it's Blue Marvel. And that book right now is like $1,000 book and a 9.8. I could see that book going up to like $2,500, maybe even more.
A big reason why I do agree with you about the price on that book is because it's so short printed. There's not a lot out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I see Patrick Stewart. Could it be Professor X at the end that comes? It could be Doctor Strange. It could be a lot of people. But
I think they might do Doctor Strange. I don't know that that's Luke level. Now Tony Stark. I see someone in the chat. I lost. Oh, Dale. Tony Stark would be Luke level coming back, but then that would there would need to be a lot of explanation with how that happened. You know.
Now I have a question. She's bringing back whoever's coming to engineer is going to make this tank, so-called tank, to go through the thing, right?
Yes.
Now they show the tank kind of close up every time. If you noticed, I watched this like 100 times because I'm like, I don't understand this. Am I crazy in thinking that the tank is small?
I don't think
like
so.
what, Ant-Man?
Yeah.
I think he has to. I think she's saying that he has to create it or find a way to go in. And I like here with I agree with what Brick Boss says. He says Photon was Monica Rambeau's mom, Maria, which she was.
Yep.
So I think that debunks the whole. These Photon books are going through the roof, guys. We already got the Spectrum news that was an Easter egg.
Spectrum.
We already got the Spectrum symbol on her necklace. And again, if I was a betting man, I'm betting on Blue Marvel, and I'm betting Monica becomes Spectrum at the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't think it's Photon.
They're definitely alluding to the fact that she has powers, right? With the X-ray thing,
Yep.
or with her cells. What they say during this episode, something's wrong with her cells.
Her cells got manipulated
that's
twice.
actually what happens right
That's
now,
what you're
right?
gonna say, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if she goes in,
that's what we're talking about.
and if you read that Amazing Spider-Man Annual 14, that's exactly what happens to her. Her molecules and her cells change, and she becomes a superhero. So now if she goes in that last third time, what's going to happen, guys? I think that's when you see Spectrum.
That's when she goes all Captain Marvel on everyone.
So guys, Mighty Avengers #1, still a book to grab. It's not as expensive as that Annual 14, but it's still a book that you could grab, and it's a good read if you guys want to read that series.
Do you guys see the posters that they put out? They were putting out like every week with the posters of each individual character behind the TVs. So the last one they put out, Monica Rambeau, she's wearing some sort of like, costume-ish thing. Like it's not her regular outfit. It looks like almost like a tighter t-shirt or a tighter like spandexy kind of thing behind the TVs. You don't see much of it, but you see a little bit of the difference in color on the arm and then the chest.
Right.
So I mean, it's a weird kind of nod to it, but
So does Monica Rambeau take out Wanda using powers at the end of this series? Is that the whole thing?
I don't think she's on any type of level that Wanda's at right now.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe Wanda's not expecting her, and she hits her with some Captain Marvel type powers, knocks her down.
If I could guess what's gonna happen, if I could see it playing out, I could see Wanda getting ambushed, and then someone pulls her out into the multiverse, and we already know she's in Doctor Strange #2.
Is he the one who comes and saves her?
It could be.
Sounds likely.
Well, Maddie said last week, right? Strange is the one who saves her from Cathan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
so it could, yeah.
Hello.
And I'll be honest, as exciting as it would be to see Magneto, I don't know. I don't know if I want this to be that spot. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if it's him, I would have no problem. If it's Fassbender.
Yeah, I think Fassbender would be the choice.
I've also heard rumors that he may be Doom.
Nah, I can't see that.
Really?
I thought they were gonna get Giancarlo Esposito.
They brought one X-Men from the Fox universe, so that wouldn't be too far fetched,
It wouldn't at this point. No, not at all, because they've already done it.
So listen, Quicksilver's still there, so he's going to be in the next episode. He's still there, and he refers to his father as Magneto in the X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm.
I could 110% see I'll tell you right now, if Magneto pops in the last episode, I'll go back and like episode 1, 2, and 3. I'll give it all 9.
So, all right. Another thing that happened in that little scene when they're showing Monica's blood and something's up. I mean, I think the quote was her cells were rewritten at a molecular level, something along those lines. So something obviously happened to her. We all agree Photon is around the corner. Or
they changed twice. Going in and going out and then going in.
Yep.
All right. Another thing that happens right there. Hayward has a firewall. There's something big. Like Darcy said that. They were leaving and Darcy said, all right, guys, I'm going to stick around. I got to get into this firewall. Hayward had something hidden. Something's big here. We never find out what that is.
We do.
We do?
It's called the Cataract Project.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's called
Weapon Cataract.
There it is.
What cataract is? I don't know, guys. When I Googled cataract, I'll tell you the first thing that came up is, Jem, you would probably know better than me. In Street Fighter versus Marvel, there's a board called the Cataract, and it has something to do with the Savage Land, which has been rumored a ton of times in X-Men movies. So could it be that? Could it be just a different weapon? We don't know, but we do know it's the Cataract weapon, and that's it, you know? So that's what he's working on. Could the Cataract weapon have been Vision? Them building Vision as a weapon? We don't know. So, but he definitely has that in his file.
Or is it this? Hayward fakes the video of Wanda stealing Vision. Cataract equals blurry vision.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said.
I mean, he's definitely on some villain type level. Like something happened to his family during the blip, and he blames superheroes.
Yeah.
That seems like that's where that's going.
So, okay, now we're getting towards the very end of the episode.
What about Gary? What about Jimmy? What about Jimmy Woo kicking some ass, bro?
Yeah, I know. I skipped over that.
I mean, come on.
Hold on, guys. Does Jimmy Woo annoy anybody else besides me? That guy is annoying.
I love that dude.
I
I
actually like him.
Somebody tagged me on IG when he shows Monica Rambeau his ID in the beginning.
I love it. The card. Yeah.
He does the magic trick that he learned from Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Yeah. Oh, that's a whole thing, man. He was learning that for movies. He wanted to learn that.
499 super chat from Snooch85. Blue Marvel is going to be Denzel Washington.
No, he's already rumored to be someone that's going to pop. I'll tell you who right now.
Oh, they yeah. Ever since the Falcon Winter Soldier rumors, right? They had a guy casted.
Yep. I'll tell you right now.
All right. So while Jay's doing his research there, you have Jimmy and you have Monica.
Wait, hold on. So no one agrees that Jimmy's a cornbole. That guy got to be.
man.
Oh,
That's my
I
dude.
like him. I like him.
I don't
You're just
think
a hater, Jay.
everybody in the chat says they like Jimmy. Just
How could you, how could you hate?
says it's
How
just
could you hate Jimmy? Come on.
I don't hate him. I just think he's corny.
What about
Yeah.
also? Do you notice that they kept referencing Nightmare a couple
Yes.
times?
Yeah.
Yep.
They said
think this is Marvel
Nightmare
screwing
throughout
with us.
the. What'd you say?
I think this is Marvel screwing with us.
Yeah. They're deliberately throwing a ton of Easter eggs to throw you off track. A little bit of misdirection.
Yeah, that was said in the beginning. They're like
And
they
boom, here comes
bombarded
the
us. Yeah, they bombarded us with like all misdirection this episode. It wasn't Easter eggs really. It was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna say this so you think this. I'm gonna say this now so you go this way. You know.
Or I'm going to show you this.
Yeah.
And you think that. You know, like.
Yeah.
So Jimmy leaves with Monica. Darcy stays back. They're driving out to meet their guy, right? To meet the guy with the tank. That's why they left. I think.
I can't find it. I'll
They
find
said
it.
within in an hour they're gonna meet him. Yes, they're driving out to go meet him.
They're going out to meet him to get the tank to go back in because they want to go in. Darcy stays back. She ends up breaking into this firewall, and we're going back into WandaVision. And I thought this was really good too. You have Pietro and Wanda, and they're talking, and Pietro's kind of patting Wanda on the back, like, you did a good job. How did you do this? This is great. You got the costumes. The kids are out. Where'd you keep them? You know, he's kind of being a little lighthearted about it.
Right.
Almost like he wants to know how she did it for his own educational purposes.
Well, like
This is
someone-
after, this
yeah,
is
and
after
that-
all the testing, the whole episode back and forth.
Yes.
Like
Well-
after all the where's your accent? Well, where's your accent?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So now we went from testing each other to, hey, you're doing a good job with this. This is impressive.
But it even got deeper than that because she's like, you can't kill you can't kill me and you can't kill your husband twice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
He
happens
does
now. Yeah.
reference that. Now,
And I like what Thunderhouse said, the whole Kick-Ass reference from Wanda, because
Yeah.
both Quicksilvers were in Kick-Ass.
That was just a deliberate little
Yeah.
Easter egg.
Yep.
That was funny.
so Wanda says to him that she doesn't know how she did it. Basically, she and I didn't write this down, but I think you guys probably remember. In a nutshell, she was in a dark place, and that was it. Depressed. I thought I wrote down the actual quote.
Yeah, it was more of a logical explanation. That's the part that made me think, damn, it's going to be more straightforward than all the theories on the internet are. You know what I'm saying?
And it's actually her
Mhm.
doing it herself
Yep.
in this depressive state.
And Agnes
All
is
alone.
just the sidekick that she made one of the main characters of the show, and it's nothing more than just her doing it. And she's the bad guy. That feels more realistic of a TV show than we're digging so deep for things that are kind of barely hinted. You know what I'm saying? Like to just drop a big bomb of a big major Marvel villain at the end. I don't see that happening, man. I think with MCU, it's a little bit more straightforward. You know what I'm saying?
Except, see, I normally would agree with you, but for some reason, this show in particular is very, the multiverse, right? They said flat out this show is running right into Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which just means that it could simply mean he shows up at the end to save her. You know,
it could, 100%. Carlos Ortiz with the $2 super chat. Pietro, bad skin friend, Toad. I don't know what that means.
I saw that. I don't remember that line in the show, man.
She said it to him.
Yeah,
he tried to test him.
Yep, with the borrowed boots. So borrow from your friend with the bad skin. He's referring to Toad from the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Yes.
When I thought the first thing that popped in my head was Doom.
Yeah, Doom. Yeah.
Also,
or Deadpool.
Yes.
Well, he's everywhere. So, and did you notice that when they did this is the crazy part of the show too. When they did that flashback, it was the other Pietro.
Yes. When they did the flashback in the beginning, yes.
When he died.
They did the flashback during the show. Pietro's there. They're doing a flashback of remembering something, and it's the other Pietro.
The original, the MCU,
the one from the MCU Pietro. Yeah,
and what he says is, me and Matt were talking. He says that I died in the street for nothing, but he didn't die in the street for nothing. He was saving. Yep. Who did he say? He saved Hawkeye. Yeah, and so he doesn't. Everyone's memory is a little bit jumbled. I thought him dressed as Nick Fury for Halloween was awesome.
That was funny. Yeah.
Who dressed like Nick Fury?
Pietro, as a kid.
Yeah, when they show him trick or treating as a kid, when the lady gives him the fish, he's dressed as.
And I like how they even make all the Sokovia flashbacks are like really like a bad area or whatever.
There's a car on fire in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, what about Zombie Pietro? Like, how come it was him? You know, it was a Vision flashback.
MCU have referenced the zombies now a few times.
Well, not only that, but it's like why it was him that was riddled with bullets and was dead. You know what I'm saying? And not the.
So like Ryan A says, could Evan has to be Nightmare. Nightmare could be Vision too if that could be, because he was the zombie too.
No, I don't think Vision is. I think Vision is Vision, but Quicksilver, there's a little bit more of a question of who the hell he really is.
Natty Ford's in the house.
Tom Caw, I predict a big anticlimactic ending. Lots of questions unanswered. There are a ton of questions still. With what do we have left? 3 episodes?
Possibly 4 if they're talking about this hidden 10th episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions still to answer. Now, granted, even at 30 minutes an episode, if you do have 3, you have an hour and a half of content left.
So where do we go from here? Because we know everything Sword established is now a Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circuit.
Well, that's what
you finished the episode. Yeah.
End of the episode. Here we go. This is the end. We've now gone back to Vision. We're away from Wanda, away from everything. This is important because my boy Wiccan wakes up. His powers come out now.
Yep.
Vision comes up to the edge of the hexagon. He breaks through, and it's almost like it's trying to pull him back in. Slowly, he's losing parts of himself. You could see him dying. He literally is dying. He drops to the ground. Wiccan inside hears him.
Yep.
And he gets nasty real quick. He stops his brother like mid-running, and he's like, basically, shut up. I'm listening. Goes to Wanda to let Wanda know something's wrong with Vision. Something's wrong with Dad. Where is he?
Speed was so impressed by his power.
Yeah.
He was like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
And Wanda senses it too, almost. Wanda knows something's up. But on the outside, because we're flipping back and forth now, quickly. On the outside, Darcy comes out of her little, computer station. She runs out. She's yelling at everybody, save Vision, save him. He's dying. They handcuff her to the car. This is important in a couple minutes. They go back. Wanda now basically is about to expand the wall. But first, Quicksilver says, your dead husband can't die twice.
Yep. But then I'm looking at Vision. I'm like, can he? He looks like he's dying again.
I'm like, kind of looks that way.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too. I'm like, oh, that's it. He crosses that boundary. He no longer exists.
But
you know?
So when he crossed the boundary, everyone thought they were going to see, and I'm gonna speak for everyone now. When he walked out of there, you thought you were going to see the non-stone Vision, all like gray, right? And you thought that's what was going to be walking out. I mean,
well, he was still tethered. I think his cape was still touching it or something, right?
Yeah.
So, but here's my theory with that. So, I think it only lets you leave when it wants you to leave. You get it?
No, I think
So it didn't want Vision to leave, so it's pulling him back in.
So here's my theory on that. I think everyone thought he was just going to drop dead, right? I didn't think that, because when he died, he was in a shitload of fucking shitload of pieces.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, earmuffs. He was in a ton of pieces. So as bits were getting pulled off him, why wouldn't he go back to those, hundreds of pieces or whatever he was in? So I think once this show is over, Vision is done. My opinion.
I thought that since the beginning.
Dude. Sword dissected him, because think about it. He was dead. He only had a hole in his head. The Mind Stone's gone. That's
true.
it.
That is
when
true.
he dies, he's solid. He's there. He's just
solid.
got a hole.
Which is why Wanda broke him out to begin with, right? Because remember, they made it a point to say his living will was to not be made into a weapon and not to be brought back to life and all that.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what Hayward is making with Project Cataract. I think that's Vision becoming a weapon again.
And Hayward is making him out of fear for what happened with the blip and these super-powered people becoming more and more. How many people were in Endgame? 63 heroes or something? So it's like,
Yeah, and if we go back, we all know that that Vision was created for, Ultron. It was hand in hand. So could he be the next? Could he come back as a different weapon? I could see that. But I don't think he comes back as the Avenger Vision.
Cataract.
Was Ultron really? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, guy.
Is Ultron really dead?
he never is though in the comics. He just refills,
He's
right?
not.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's I don't know how to say it. He's like data, right?
Yeah,
he's
and he is in Vision.
So
I think Cataract is Vision. Project Cataract. I mean, Cataract, Eyes, Vision. I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's them making
It's
Vision.
actually Cataract. Is that like having a damaged vision?
It is a cataract.
Yep, exactly. It's
You know what they say is good for that?
Yep. A little CBD.
a little Wanda. A little Wanda.
For a child.
I was gonna say something dirty, but I was like, ooh.
Nah.
There you guys.
Oh man.
So Darcy's locked to the car. Vision is dying.
To me, Gary saying something dirty is a horse fell in mud.
And Wanda basically, after she blasts Quicksilver away, eyes go red. You see her concentrating, and this hexagon didn't just get a little bigger to scoop up Vision.
She went overboard, right?
Going like it went. The only person to get away was Hayward and his little team of 2 or 3 guys, whoever was in the car with him. Everyone else
and Rambo.
Yeah, they're long gone.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Monica are long gone.
I thought it was cool how like the helicopter turned into a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Which
Even
is
though that's
different,
not. Yeah.
Because before it would just go to whatever time frame you were in, right?
Yes.
But now it's like she's changing it to whole different things.
So
The
I thought
sword
for
tent
sure
turns into circus tents.
I thought the ending of that show was going to be Hayward gets pulled into the hex, and you see him for what he really is. But he got away. So I'll tell you what. Now I'm hooked. I'll admit it. Now I'm hooked. I cannot wait till next week.
Guys,
All right,
trust
so
in Feige, man. Come on.
I have brought this up before, but are we finally at a point where we have seen no trailers upcoming?
No, I think there are some things like something with the stone, right?
I don't know.
I think that's just showing her making a fake stone to put in his head, because even someone just mentioned in the chat, like when he comes out, what's that?
Tank.
Oh, Tank is there.
Oh, when he comes out, he's got the stone, but I think that's just a fake stone that she made, and whatever she did to resurrect him is probably housed in that stone in his head or something.
It's possible. I am excited. We have 3, possibly 4. I don't think there's a 4th episode. I think there's only 3.
So touch on this, Gary. Don't forget Darcy was handcuffed to the
because this thing is expanding, this hexagon's expanding. Yep. Darcy is handcuffed to the car. She gets pulled in. We don't see what she turns into.
Nope.
We have no idea. We do see a lot of the agents turn into clowns and circus folk, but we have no idea about Darcy. And
I think there's more to Darcy than they allude to. I think Darcy's going to be something.
Yeah, I think
I really think she is. I just think there's something special about her. She knows how to do a lot of stuff, man. She's very smart. She's always on top of things. And then this now pulling her in, I don't know what it's going to manipulate the stuff that's, her junk. Pause, but
So I disagree with Joker Jack. He says the sad part about all this is there'll be no second season. That's what I like about it. It's just going to end and go right into the movies.
But the continuity carries over. That's why I like the MCU so much. So whatever happens here is always going to have happen.
It's going to affect a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you don't need the second season. Consider the rest of it the second season, because there's going to be ongoing. We can all agree that there will be multiple ongoing stories from WandaVision.
See, what's sad is this was supposed to go right into Doctor Strange too, but being that COVID-19 happened, the timeline is we're going to have to go back and forth because now it's just going straight into Falcon Winter Soldier.
Well, what's sad about this is that we were supposed to get Black Widow before this. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to be before this, wasn't it?
Yep.
So you had 2.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be first.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Well, then you have a movie, Black Widow, and then you have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was supposed to be before this. So you have two things that probably had to be adjusted now to fit this whole thing too.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if we get any season 2s of any of these things.
Right. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't think you need it.
Mm-mm.
You won't need it. Adam C with the $4.99 super chat. Any possibility of anyone being a Skrull? Hell yeah.
There's always a possibility of that.
Right?
Always.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for that episode. Do you guys, now I have Matty Forge's grade, but Guy, what do you grade this episode on a 1 through 10?
I've been grading the whole time with you guys too, just because I did it. And I think I would give this a 7.5.
7.5 from Guy. You want to know what Matty gave him?
Yeah.
8.5 for episode 6 from Matt. Jay, what do you think?
What did I give last week? An 8?
8.5.
8.5. I'll go a half point back. It wasn't as good as episode 5, so I'll go a half point back and give it an 8.
And I agree to that. I don't think it was as good. I think it was a good episode.
Yep, it was a good episode.
It was different. It was different. Once again, we talked about not a lot of Easter eggs, but a lot of misdirection. I think purposely.
And I'm gonna go out on a ledge here, and I'm gonna guess that next week is gonna be the best episode we see yet.
I think so.
With 3 episodes left, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say not next week, but the week after.
Oh, you said so you're saying that you have the Game of Thrones theory where it's the Game of Thrones before theory. The last episode that's always good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yep. Jem, what do you got? 1 through 10, buddy.
What I give last week?
9.
Yeah, I gotta keep it at a 9. It's not worse than last one. I enjoyed it just the same.
I'm actually gonna go backwards as well. I'm going from a 9 back to an 8. I think it's good, but last week I really liked last week's episode.
Well, last week had the big surprise, but I like how this one played it out, So, and I like the Malcolm in the Middle thing. Like I said in the beginning, I liked both aspects of the show, whereas the first 2-3 episodes, you kind of just had to get through the WandaVision fake world.
Yeah. Now, there were some other things we wanted to talk about really quick, right, Jay? What do you got here? What did you want to talk about here?
That was a Halloween prop, but I think they put it there just to throw you off a little bit, to maybe for everyone to say, hey, that's Mephisto. But that just happens to be a Halloween prop. But hey, you never know. Like Jem said, a butterfly, anything could be Mephisto nowadays.
And then this, you tried here.
So I tried, guys. I'll get back to you guys on this. This is when who I believe to be the Blue Marvel, calls Monica. And that's from my work computer. I took a picture of that because Disney Plus will not let you take a screenshot for whatever reason. So when I go back tonight, I'm going to pull it up on my big TV and see if I could decipher that for you guys.
And here's a quick book.
Oh, that was the Maria Hill. That was just a theory on the rolling hill in Ellis Street. But that's a good book to have anyway, guys. A cheap book to grab.
All right. Now, what do you guys got coming up this week on Pressable Defects?
Let me drop.
Wait, two things, Gary, before Jay can do that. So I just have a question because funny thing, when they ran the credits, I was talking when Jem said about Malcolm in the Middle. Did you find it funny when they at the end they said Pietro as himself?
Yeah,
Did
I
you
noticed
catch that?
Yeah.
Well, the last actor is always as himself back in the day, you know, like.
But obviously, I think that was done on purpose. Obviously,
and
Pietro as himself.
How about this, Gar? Which show? This is a fun little game. Which show do you think they'll base it on next week?
It doesn't seem. It seems like we're out of shows, man.
No, 2000s.
We're in the 2000s.
A lot of people are saying Modern Family.
I haven't even seen an episode of that.
Oh, you're missing
That's
out.
good.
It's a funny show.
Man, I don't know. 2000s. I wasn't watching a lot of TV in 2000.
Yeah,
I just got out of college, and I don't think I watched much anything. Oh, you know what I watched, and it's not going to fit. Wasn't that when like Lost came out?
Right.
That?
Oh yeah, that was the turn to reality TV.
Right.
Yeah,
But I don't think they'll base it on that.
I think they're going to do some reality TV stuff because she's
Survivor.
at the next one. She's talking to the camera. She's talking to the camera, and then and one of the. So to answer your question, Gary, about previews and stuff, there's a preview of her talking to the camera and saying some funny stuff, and she's like, "Well, you know, ha ha ha," like
maybe
something
that
like that.
It could be the
So
reality.
It's going
If
to
I
be
would've wrote
reality or
this
maybe modern TV.
If I would have wrote the 80s and 90s show or kind of in that mix, I would have thrown in Married with Children and just had, Vision with his hand down his pants in front of the TV.
$4.99 super chat from Roosevelt Cavazos. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. I hope everyone's enjoying the show. I don't know. Go ahead, guys.
Should we give your listeners
some
homework? So Maddie Forge was talking about in episode 4 when the police officers are talking to Monica and Jimmy Woo. They're talking to them, and when it's about 7 minutes into the show. So if you guys want to go and take a look at it, see if you could figure it out. Maybe write it in the comments or DM Matt or one of us, whatever. There's some chatter from the police on the radio. And the only way I could hear it, Maddie heard it too, headphones, you can hear it in your right ear. There's a background chatter, not what they're talking about, but there's background chatter that makes it sound like they're saying something like get rid of them or make them leave or something like that along those lines. There's a few times that they say something. See if you guys can hear it and see if you can decipher what they say. Because maybe it's something.
We got here's that $4.99 super chat. Wanda, next is Spider-Man, then Doctor Strange. And Chad RCG, great to see Very Butcher and crew.
I love Chad.
Jem, what do you got coming up this week? Statues?
Yeah, probably. I'm really looking forward to this auction though, man.
Right. I want to keep bringing it up in the beginning of the episode and I forget. February 26th, guys. Mark it on your calendars. Jem will be with us. Jay will be with us. And that is our next auction. It's Friday, February 26th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to run the marathon as long as we can go again.
I got some shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know you've got some runs, mini series, modern stuff, statues. You still bringing statues?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a buy it now up for every time I have an auction. And if y'all are buying, I can keep them coming. I got little $100 to $200 statues, little affordable joints. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome.
So we'll have a lot of stuff. And Jay, I know you'll have some stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to come with something.
So there you go. It's Friday, February 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern starting, going till, I don't know.
Yeah.
Till whenever.
Yep.
But that's it for us tonight on a special Friday night episode of Wandavision. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope everyone has a great night. Be safe. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Be safe. for a lot of you guys out there.
Oh, hold
Crazy.
on, yeah. Can we tell you what we got coming up? What we put
Oh
out?
yeah, I said it, and the guy was talking about the homework.
Sorry,
But
sorry.
I just dropped the chat, guys. Our link in the chat. We have a Cold Keys episode you guys might want to check out after what the defects bought last week with the whole Cathan theory. You might want to check out Cold Keys. We got a 2,500 subscriber giveaway going on. We're going to be giving away some dope stuff, and then we have a cool live show with a sculptor in the community who's going to be giving some stuff away. He's going to make something and give it away in the chat on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So besides that, always a pleasure, Jem. Always a pleasure, Gary. Guy, you're a defect brother. I see you all the time. So that's it for defect.
Everybody have a great night. We'll see you again next week for episode 7.
Episode 7.
Episode 7. Have a great night, everybody.